All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Limitless MD. I'm your host, Vikram Raya, and today I have a special guest. I have Dr. Ashley Lucas. She is an amazing woman. She is the founder of PhD Weight Loss. This is the most cutting edge weight loss strategy in the country right now. She's the author of a new book, 5 Steps to Relaunch the Scale. And she is an entrepreneur who's helping other like-minded practitioners really achieve success in business and life. So welcome to the show, Ashley.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
What if you could reclaim hours of free time each week, create legacy building wealth, and devote more energy to your passion projects without giving up on your career as a life-saving MD? My name is Vikram Raya, functional cardiologist, high-performance coach, and real estate expert. And I'm here to give you the tools, strategies, and solutions you need to transform your life so you can unlock your limitless potential and achieve greatness, all the while freeing up your precious time. Welcome to Limitless MD. Let's dive in. Is it true that you were really a ballerina and that was your goal in life, and suddenly you shifted your career to becoming the weight loss expert in the country?
That's true. That's right.
How did that happen?
Yeah, I grew up training as a classical ballet dancer. I spent my youth, I went to boarding school for it during high school, undergrad, college in ballet performance, and I had a pretty successful career, but I was injured all the time. I was always watching what I ate, restricting calories, and never meeting the aesthetic profile that I needed for the sport. As a ballerina, we, at least then, were required to be extremely lean. And so at the accumulation of my career, I was invited to perform in New York, everybody's dream as a dancer. And instead of finding myself in the spotlight, I found myself landed in the ER. I thought I was having a heart attack. I didn't know what was going on. After a whole bunch of tests, the doctor said that I was simply underfed and overexercised and I couldn't keep going. And so that really is what propelled me into now what we do at PhD Weight Loss and Nutrition. I went on and earned my PhD in sports nutrition and chronic disease. I studied exactly that. What happens to your metabolism when you're chronically under eating, restricting your cells, and how do you drop weight in a sustainable way where you're not just ruining the metabolism in the process? And then also understanding that any big change, which I think weight loss constitutes for, requires big mental shifts, mental, emotional, the habit, behavior. So studied what we need to do behaviorally to really create change. Went on and taught at The Ohio State University and realized that I really wanted to be this true expert in weight management. So I went back to school again and completed my dietetic internship and am now a registered dietitian. And I thought that that would give me all of this great information. And really everything that I learned, I understood didn't work for me. The eat less, move more, eat everything in moderation, eat a balanced diet, all of that just didn't work. And I did that with great discipline when I was dancing. So I basically flipped all of that upside down, took what I learned from my research during my doctoral work and created the PhD approach, which has since helped thousands of people drop weight and positively impact their lives in every way. So grateful for all of those experiences.
That is an amazing story. I love that. I love how you challenged the current belief systems for health. Why do you think so many people are I guess overweight or obese in this country?
I think one of the reasons why is because of the way we're told to eat. We're told to eat not that carbs are bad, they just have the most profound effect on how we metabolize our food, but we're told in general to eat a really high amount of those. Our foods are just filled with addictive substances, sugar being the primary one. We don't understand that it's a big addiction kind of recovery process for a lot of us. And then we also are told that it's our fault, that we just need to eat less and move more. If you go to most doctors, they will say, gosh, if you want to drop weight, which you need to move more and eat less. And it's just so much more complicated than that.
Tell me about was it scary to start your own clinic, to start this whole paradigm to try to serve this population? I mean, I know a lot of people out there in this space and, they struggle. Why do you think, I think what do you think is one of the keys to your success? Because I've been amazed by what I've heard about your growth here.
I appreciate that. Yeah. I'd say the keys to success would be I'm a little bit unreasonable. I make unreasonable choices and I put big risk into what I do because I have such a passion to create massive impact in the lives of others. I absolutely love what I do. And so I think there maybe I'm willing to take a little bit more risk if I think that it is going to serve others in a massive way.
And what is your mission right now? I mean, what's like at the end of your days, what will you want to have accomplished?
I mean, in general, I just want to create massive positive impact in people's lives. And I know when you drop weight and you improve your health, it impacts every aspect of your life. You know, we can't up level what we do, even in our profession, I believe, if our weight and our body isn't in a good place. We just can't connect on a certain level when our body and our health is in a different level than say our career. I don't know if I said that clearly, but
Yeah, I think how you do anything is how you do everything, right? And so I really believe that, health and vitality are they're the cornerstone, the foundation for a lot of what we do. Let me ask you this: the kind of clients that you work with, are these people, people who are just starting off in life and don't have much means, and it's because of those poor choices, or you have people who are, executives and really established, but they're still struggling from this, or is it just people with mindset and addictive issues, or is it the whole spectrum? Can you describe the kind of people that come through your door?
sure. We work with anyone who is ready to make a change, anyone who is at threshold and they just know they are sick and tired of how they feel right now. And gosh darn it, they're ready to bring their A game and they're going to be committed and dedicated because it's just like anything else in life that you're good at. You've got to bring that same dedication and commitment when you're dropping weight and changing your health. And so we work a lot with people who are professionals who need to time collapse. They don't have time to figure it out on their own, or maybe they've tried and tried. I just was meeting with one of our clients and she said she's tried since college to drop this weight and get rid of the bloating. And she just started crying because we figured it out in such a short period of time, 6 weeks. And she had dropped significant weight. She has hypothyroid. So, I mean, a big challenge and a busy, successful professional. And we were able to help her get there and feel great. And now she looks great as well. So, really busy moms. I mean, a lot of physicians, you name it, mostly busy people who have a lot going on and they've tried and have failed at everything else they've attempted.
So I want you to give some cutting edge advice because of your expertise for our listeners. So I have people who are, really crushing it in many parts of their life, but sometimes their health and wellness aspect is the hardest one for them.
Mhm.
Can you give some, and we'll do two scenarios. One is a man in his, let's say, mid 40s who is successful, but has that, typical, I guess, belly, or the,
Mhm.
middle-aged beer gut kind of thing. But he's, he exercises, he does everything right, but he has this little pouch. What would you say for this? And maybe as a physician or something like that. What would you
Sure.
recommend?
Well, the first thing is that I would hope to explain why the fat exists. And so let me try to explain that quickly here. But basically, what happens in our lives is we have these triggers and they change the way that we tolerate our food. So, for a lot of people, if I chatted with this guy, he'd probably tell me that he looked and felt his best at a certain weight. It was probably maybe during college, before medical school, and during medical school, all of a sudden this weight started to pack on. And then the stress and residency and all of the stress that goes into what you guys do is significant. And his body starts to change. He's like, I don't really eat differently than I did then, but now I've got this 20, 40, 60 plus pounds
Wow.
that just will not drop. And so what happens is that over time, this fat that we accrue in the belly, this visceral fat, grows its own blood vessels, gets its own oxygen supply, and starts to secrete hormones. So we know from studies that these fat cells in the belly are actually metabolically active. They're secreting hormones. Aromatase is one of them, which converts estrogen or testosterone, I'm sorry, into estrogen.
Yeah, these guys usually have starting to have breast tissue. Their
Yep,
sex drive goes down.
that's
They
right.
think that their cure is to do a testosterone injection of some
Yes.
sort, but you're going to tell us otherwise.
Yeah, unfortunately, that doesn't do the trick. It might help a little bit with energy, but it's still, you got all this aromatase in there converting your testosterone into estrogen. As your estrogen levels climb, you start to continue to gain fat in the chest and the throat area. Now you're at higher risk of high blood pressure and sleep apnea. You're not looking great. You're not feeling great. The fat cells secrete cortisol at the tissue level. We all know cortisol, being that stress hormone, just continues to drive that cascade of negativity. It also secretes interleukin 6, which is that really inflammatory hormone linked to a whole host of negative health consequences. So I want you to think of this belly fat like a tumor, and all it wants to do is grow. It wants to get fatter as fast as possible. And so as it continues to grow, it continues to secrete more hormones. And we think, gosh, I just need to eat less and move more. But here it is with these hormones driving you to be hungry, to have cravings, to be lazy, because the last thing this fat mass wants you to do is go expend a ton of energy. And so it's really important to understand that when you commit to dropping weight, you've got to commit to going all the way back where you need to be into that optimal weight, that sweet spot, and fully collapsing that fat mass. Because if you only lose a portion of it, it's like shaving the top off of a weed and leaving the root. You know what's going to happen. It's just going to come back. So
Guys,
that's my number
this
one.
this is some of the most groundbreaking information I've I'm a functional medicine doctor. I'm a cardiologist. I've worked with hundreds and hundreds of patients like this, but Dr. Ashley's knowledge of fat and of how to really eradicate it from your body, especially the fat, the unhealthy visceral fat, this is groundbreaking, guys. I love what I'm hearing here. This is amazing. Uh, and let's say there's a woman who's tried everything, Weight Watchers, Jenny Craig. She's even done diets. She's lost some weight, gets it back. The people who've lost 100 pounds, but then they've gained 100 pounds. What do you do for this postmenopausal women or perimenopausal women who are in this phase where they've had their kids, they're successful in their career, they're in their 40s, but they're women, and it's really frustrating to them, and they're almost given up and said, you know what, this is just who I am.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, what we do specifically is we create a meal plan that takes out the guesswork. And so we
Mm.
tell them exactly what, when, and how much to eat. And it's different for each person and the unique situation that they're in, but we make sure that they're eating in the macros that they need to enter into a state of fat burn. And when we do that, cravings and hunger go away and it feels very good. And then every week we're coaching on not just the nutrition part, but the behavioral aspect and breaking food addictions and letting go of the foods that we say we love that don't love us back anymore. And if we go back to those bad habit demons, those old habits, that's when we start to return with the weight, especially if we haven't fully collapsed the fat mass to begin with.
And tell me how big a role mindset plays in all this, because I know a lot of people go through the mechanics of weight loss or mechanics of weight management, but they seem to forget this aspect of it. And what's sort of the strategies you use to get into the psyche, the DNA of your clients?
Yeah, I would say that 80% of this journey comes from the mind. And so, what we do is we do a lot of behavior work. We talk about the sabotaging thoughts and triggers that come up and the addictions that are developed. We also specifically, we have behavior modification audios that really change the neural pathways in the brain. They have binaural beats associated
Oh
with it.
wow,
And
that's
so it
really cool.
really starts to change the way that we think and rewire the brain. So we have a few different modalities along with the coaching to support a true mental shift. If you read a lot of our client experiences on our website, you'll see how many people talk about, one, they're not hungry and they don't have cravings anymore because metabolically we've created a shift. And then two, how they think completely different. And both are required to see success.
And I think recently you've compiled a lot of this information in your new book that's going to be released today across the country, guys. It's going to be on Amazon, so please pick it up. It's called 5 Steps to Relaunching the Scale. Is that correct?
5 steps to reset the scale.
5 steps to reset the scale. So, what are those 5 steps?
Yeah, well, we talked about a lot of them already, but one is achieving the optimal weight. Really collapsing that belly fat mass so you no longer have it in there. Otherwise, it's going to eat itself right up again. The second one is to eat the right foods and dip down into that state where you're really burning fat for fuel. It feels so good, and nearly every cell in the body prefers to burn fat. We just haven't let it because of the way we've been told to eat. The third is mindset. Really have to be aware that this is a mental and emotional journey, and it's a process of letting go. We're letting go of the excess fat weight and also all of the emotions that are tied to it. And then we've got to break food addictions, realizing that that's a part of the journey for a lot of people. And the fifth part, which we haven't talked about, but is maintenance. I mean, maintenance is really what it's all about. This is where the work is to be done. And most people, once they get into maintenance, they take their foot off the gas pedal. I really dislike the word maintenance. I think that maintenance is a bit of a destructive word. Even if in business, we think I'm just going to maintain my business, you know what's going to happen, right? It's going to start to drop and it's going to deconstruct. I think this word maintenance really should be called creation, because we have to continue to move into new levels to be able to maintain a weight loss. But I call it maintenance because everyone understands that and I can explain it clearly. But maintenance with us, it's free. The support is free. It's forever, and we never abandon our clients.
That's
and that's
awesome.
really what we're known for. And so life happens. If you pop up 5, 10 pounds, whatever it might be, that's okay. But we're here to error correct so people never have to diet again. And then, since it is an addiction recovery process, there can be relapses, and that's okay. As long as you pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and get back in the saddle, then you learn from it, and the severity and the frequency of the relapse will diminish.
Yeah, you can have a bad day or a bad week, but to have a bad month or a year, that means you're consistently making the wrong choices over and over. And so I think having a program like yours, or having the support that and the coaches, perhaps all that is very critical. Now, let me take a little pivot here. I have a lot of doctors who are listening to this podcast, and they're running their clinics. They've decided to go beyond the traditional medicine. Maybe they're running a functional medicine clinic, integrative clinic. Perhaps it's some kind of alternative kind of medicine clinic. What are when you launched your practice? What were the sort of the obstacles that you struggled with, and then maybe we can talk about some of how you broke through some of these plateaus?
Sure. For us, we depend a lot on our team, and we have a great team, but it does include some growing pains on how to lead people. We started off with, just me the first year, and we're now at 59 team members.
What year did you start PhD?
2015.
2015. Okay, great.
So if you can imagine, in the last 3 months, we hired 18 additional team members.
Wow.
And the reason why is because our nationwide over the phone program just exploded, and we didn't forecast that. So that's a growing pain, not forecasting, being in new momentum where you've never been before, which I know a lot of new business owners are. Everything is new. And just how to deal with that. And I have a business coach, and he helped me understand that it's just a part of the process, and everything that I'm doing is okay. And we actually were in a situation where we couldn't serve all of the new clients coming in. And as a business owner, that's never okay. I'm like, that's our number one priority, is to serve new clients who want to make a change.
So you grew too quickly.
We did.
Yeah.
And so that's why we had to hire so many people at the gate. Mm-hmm.
What would you say helped you get to that huge momentum that you have? Like, you started with just you. How did you get from you to 59?
Being really good at what we do.
Mm-hmm.
We say
is it word of mouth? Was it just really good marketing as well?
Word of mouth.
Retention.
Yeah. So I would say word of mouth. We are really great at our marketing, but we do what we say we do. So when people come in, they actually witness huge change. So I think you've got to be stellar. Your services have to provide massive value, and we do. So that's a big one. And then taking the risk with marketing and spending what needs to be required to reach thousands of people. I think that a lot of us get stuck just in the day-to-day operations, especially from my perspective with physicians. Sometimes we get stuck in being the physician rather than getting our message actually out there. Like, when are you going to share everything amazing that you do with others rather than just continue to create something amazing, if that makes sense? Like, you have to share your message and be evangelistic about what you do, but what you do does have to just create massive value.
That's awesome. I love the word evangelistic. That's really it. Like when you use the word calling and evangelistic and your mission. I mean, I think obviously there's income that you've generated, but it's the impact that really drives you. Sounds like, Ashley.
Oh yeah, 100% puts purpose in my step. And when I hear stories from clients who just make huge transitions in their life because of what we've done, I just can't stop.
So I'm going to ask you just a few quick questions, and then I want to share with the audience where they can learn more about your book, more
Sure.
about your program, and just how to get in contact with you. What's the sort of the number one book you've read in the last 12 months that really influenced you?
That's a great question. So the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People was great. The Psychology of Achievement, which is only available through Audible, was really impactful for me. I like all of the mindset work because I think as a business owner, and when you're dealing with a lot, you can get bogged down in the allotness of it rather than what you're doing that's positive. So keeping your mindset positive is big for me.
What's the worst advice you've had when you're starting your business?
The worst advice?
Yeah.
I've been so lucky. I think that's why I've done so well, is because I've got amazing mentors.
Yeah.
So I honestly can't think of anything. I just know that from a marketing perspective, it is so easy to get trapped
Yes.
in stuff that just doesn't work. And then you can spend all your money on digital or whatever it might be, print copies but
what's the best advice you've gotten recently?
Recently, I mean, when
I'll change it. What's the best advice you can give to a young clinic owner?
I guess the best advice I can give, I kind of already shared, but to be unreasonable and to be obsessed. It's really helped me to understand that it's okay to have really high standards and hold others up to it. I think before I would have very high standards of myself, but say it would be okay if other team members didn't stand up and step up. But now I hold everyone, all 59 of us, to the same standards. And as a result, we've got an amazing group of A players, and together we're able to do extraordinary things.
I love that, guys. This is one of my favorite podcast episodes. I love the word unreasonable, in that how Dr. Ashley is telling everyone to raise their standards. Not only her team, herself, her contractors, everyone around her is raising the standards. And because of that, they're able to serve more clients, help them achieve these amazing goals. And then not only that, but a lot of people achieve goals, but then they can fall back. She's created a program with its continued growth / maintenance, we call it, right? But it really helps support them. And your book, 5 Steps to Resetting the Scale, it's available on Amazon. So please Google it, pick it up, give a 5-star review. And where can people find out more about you and your program, Dr. Ashley?
Sure. The best place is our website, myphdweightloss.com. And there you'll see our brick and mortar locations, but also how to reach out on the nationwide over the phone program. And we worked really hard on the website. So if you're creating your own website. And I'd say to take a look, and whatever ideas you can glean, just take them and copy them, because there's a lot of effort in there.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much. And guys, take a look at the book, go to the website, and you might want to listen to this podcast episode again. And if you have issues with weight loss, please contact Ashley. That'd be great. All right. And until next time, guys, be phenomenal. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Limitless MD. If you found value from this episode, I encourage you to share this episode with a friend and let me know by leaving a review. For more information, make sure you check out the links in the show notes below or simply visit vikramraya.com. So until next time, my friends, be phenomenal.